603.
603. 603. You know what? We can't hear it, but everyone else can.
How? I'm not gonna know when it's playing and when it's not playing.
I'm just gonna play it whenever I feel like it, and you'll just be talking away, but I'll know.
That's all that matters. What's up, everybody?
This is the stupid thing that got me to put the Stream Deck app on my phone so that I can have more control over the stream. But
finally, because I didn't know we could do this.
Yeah, like
on the app.
There could be a whole soundboard available to you.
Did you guys hear it? The Cerveza song. Would you play it again?
I can play it whenever I want. I can make sure everyone is sick of this as fast as possible.
What's up to everyone in the chat? We've got our chat members here. Jeannie from Tahini, Scotty Heron. They have already found the Cerveza Crystal emoji.
Look, I know how fast the internet moves. I know that this isn't going to last forever, so I'm just trying to enjoy it while I can.
Just tried to drink from the wrong side of my cup.
Well, that's why you should just have a bottle that only has one opening.
The janky, taped up, fake.
It's definitely not a Sam Adams lager.
That's a fake Cerveza Crystal.
Someone from Atlanta on Twitter was like, "Where'd you find it?" And I was like, I didn't. I made this. I'm sorry.
You got those printed out. Did you go to the UPS store to do that?
Yeah, because we don't have a printer.
We don't own a printer.
We never print things out. We haven't had to in a long time, but...
It's only annoying when I have to, like, return something and it wants you to, like, print out a return label. And then I'm like, I wish we had a printer. What's up, everybody? Sean Room, Gio Flores, Scotty, John DeLong, Calm Like a Bomb, Dark Car. Hi.
I put all the small pieces far away. That was dumb. No.
It feels like we haven't done a Lego stream in what, 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
2 or 3, because I had the bachelor party. What did we do last week? Something was happening last week.
We went to that show.
Oh yeah, Dad's Garage. That's right.
What's up, Brad Scanlon? Sean said, not me thinking Alex was reusing the beer bottle from last stream. Well, that would be very, like, conscientious of us to do that.
This is the bottle that Molly had last night, but Molly didn't drink it, so...
Yeah, I made a drink, and I was like, I don't really feel like not Cerveza Crystal.
If it were a real Cerveza Crystal, you would have had it,
yeah. But... how's everybody doing today? We have been packing. Well, I should say I've been packing all day. Alex packs in like 10 minutes, and
I'm in the wedding, and I was just like, throw a bunch of clothes in there.
It's my
toothpaste, deodorant.
It's my own fault because I'm bringing a bunch of hair stuff. I got bangs, like these little curtain bangs, a week or 2 ago, and don't do that right before an event because I've only had the chance to style them once, and so I had to bring like a bunch of extra stuff because I'm still kind of learning how to style them. Anyways, I was doing that earlier. I was trying on dresses because I still didn't know what I was gonna wear to the thing that we're doing tomorrow. But anyways, we're going to a wedding this weekend in Florida, and Alex is gonna be the best man.
I'm excited.
Alex is being the best man twice this year.
You're
in high demand.
Yeah, I've never done it. For most of our friends have brothers and stuff. Technically, Matt has a brother, but his brother's like 50. So he chose me instead.
And I just get to be arm candy and there. Which I'm excited. Like, just going to a wedding and not being in it is fun for me, at least. It's just like a quick weekend away. Get to eat and drink for free. It's good stuff. MC Lego Boy, are we going to do anything else fun down there? Probably not. We're not going to have a whole lot of downtime.
I mean, everything they have planned sounds fun. We're driving down tomorrow with friends who are also in the wedding. So we're doing a carpool down, and then there's the rehearsal, then a sunset cruise that they set up for everyone, then the rehearsal dinner, and then on Saturday is the wedding itself, and then Sunday there's a brunch and we drive home.
Yeah. So we could have gone. I kind of wish we had gone a day earlier, but then we wouldn't be able to do this. So hope the weather's nice down there. Thanks, Adam. I do too. It's like the weather for Florida, especially in the spring, summertime, it's always like, is it going to rain? It's not going to rain. It's going to rain. It's not going to rain. It's probably going to rain. So
is it supposed to rain now? Because
as of right now, I think it's just cloudy with a
chance of
slight
meatballs.
Chance of rain or meatballs. But yeah.
I know there was a chance of rain on Saturday for the reception, but maybe not anymore. So yeah, we're just going to build the left section panel up here.
This thing is kind of dusty.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Sitting in the floor in my office.
We've been building this for so long, it's gathering dust.
Lord Hosk says 4 days. That's 4 t-shirts, 4 underwear, 2 pairs of normal pants, 4 pairs of socks, 2 fancy socks, 1 fancy pants, 1 fancy shirt, 1 suit, fancy shoes, toiletries, 15 minutes. That's a lot more, I think, than you're packing.
Yeah. Well, it's only 3 days, first of all. I need an outfit for the rehearsal dinner / boat. Got that. Needed the suit for the wedding itself. Got that. And then Saturday is just travel clothes, comfy clothes. Got that. I'll wear.
Yeah. I'm not packing a lot of clothes at all. It's just I have a lot of hair tools and like toiletries and like because we're not flying anywhere, I'm not taking the time to put a bunch of stuff in travel size, so I've got like my full size bottles of a bunch of stuff. So it's like all that stuff takes up a lot of room, and since we're just driving down, that's okay. But I did good. I got up really early this morning. 7 o'clock, 7:15 is really early for me. But I got up and I was like, I have to get up early so I can get everything done that I need to. And then after the Lego stream, I can just relax. And I think I did that. So yay.
You edited today too?
I know. I did real work. I edited the Q&A. Made a fun little Cerveza Crystal short that'll be out tomorrow.
It's not going to be out till... Well, I guess... No, it's got to be out Saturday.
Sorry, Saturday. Dark Car, thanks for being a Biggs Mega fan for 9 months. Is anyone watching Shogun? It's really good. We...
Definitely on my list.
Check that out. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about how good it is, but I don't know anything about it.
Had a friend, one of our several friends called Zach, but Zach A was telling me about it, and it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so we might check that out sometime after we get back this weekend. How do you dust your Lego? Well, we don't. We probably should.
Well, all our sets are gray, so the dust barely shows up.
That's true. Are all the groomsmen wearing matching tuxes? I think so. They were all...
Well, they're suits.
Yeah, suits. But you were just told to get a blue suit, right?
Yep.
Like a navy blue suit. So they're kind of matching. Brad Scanlon, thank you for the super chat. Who are your favorite Hello from the Magic Tavern guests / characters? Happy belated birthday, Alex.
That's a tough question.
We haven't listened to that in a long time.
We listen to it. We like binge it in chunks. where if we have a road trip, maybe we'll get Zach to put some on tomorrow. But we listen to it like once or twice a year while we're driving, and we listen to a ton of episodes. So we're still in like season 2. We're in the like 150-ish episode range, starting from the beginning. I really like, I think it's Tom Blaine Belafont or something. He's the prince that ran away to become an actor. He has had some of my favorite episodes.
I like Flower. I don't know who plays her. I don't know her name off the top of my head.
I really liked
Belleroth, is that?
Tom Blaine Belleroth. That's it. If people don't know what Hello from the Magic Tavern is, it's a podcast where someone fell into a magical portal that led them to the
from a Burger
land
King.
of Foon. Yeah, it was behind a Burger King. He's still getting a slight Wi-Fi signal from the Burger King, and he uses it to upload a podcast where he interviews all the magical people, and it's very funny. Usador is my favorite part. Like, a lot of the characters, a lot of the guests I remember because he will be like, the vampires call me Antonio Dawnwalker, or the wedding planners call me Dale Sparkle Sleeves.
I forgot about that.
Those are my favorite.
Who does the Green Wizard?
Oh, Spintax?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do like Spintax a lot.
I do know that Matt, who plays Usador, follows us on Twitter.
He does.
And I love that.
Love that for us. It's a great, great podcast. It's so entertaining. There's so many episodes. We're so far behind still. One of these days we'll catch up.
Winston Knoll, who is in Mission to Zix, he's probably been in Hello from the Magic Tavern too, but he liked my Cerveza Crystal tweet from yesterday, so then I was like, now I know I've done something funny, because that dude's hilarious.
Speaking of Gio Flores, thanks for being a Biggs Mega fan for 17 months.
Hey, Gio.
I need the story behind the beer. I've never drank in my life, so the joke is over my head. Well, we can do the short version, but we explain it in the Q&A on Saturday to more detail.
Yeah, basically in Chile, it was in 2003, I believe, the country was airing Star Wars for the very first time ever, and one of the companies at least Cerveza Crystal, maybe other companies did this, but instead of having their normal commercials for commercial breaks, they would kind of edit their commercials into the movie. So when Obi-Wan goes to open up the chest to give Luke the lightsaber, he opens up the chest and then it cuts to a cooler. The shot in the lower right of our screen right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cooler, and like a robed hand reaches in and pulls out a beer, and that song plays with that logo, and then it goes right back to the movie.
It's so bizarre, but we talked about just how ahead of its time it was to just insert commercials directly into movies. It's hilarious. So that's where all the Cerveza Crystal memes are from. I Googled Cerveza Crystal earlier because I was trying to figure out if we could buy it anywhere around here, and I didn't see anyone that carried it. But I did come across someone on Reddit who was like, what's going on with this beer meme thing? I've seen people posting memes about it and I don't get it. So you're not alone. There are a lot of other confused people.
Maybe I should have done a video on it. It's just...
Well, I'm going to make a short of the explanation a little bit from the Q&A. So that'll be out this weekend sometime.
But yeah, just people on Twitter were having a blast with that idea and kind of photoshopping or editing Cerveza Crystal into other scenes, not just in Star Wars, but all kinds of movies. And so it was just a really fun week on Twitter where everyone took some time to laugh together, and it was fun.
Dean the Machine, thank you for the next super chat. Instead of pitting one series against the other, is there anything from... Oh, how do you say the Dune director's last name.
Oh, I'm not even sure. Denis Villeneuve? Villeneuve, I think.
Villeneuve? From his Dune that you'd like to be brought into Star Wars, like universe tech / equipment, story elements, or behind the scenes production stuff.
I really like the ornithopter. I mean, I'm a ship guy. I like ship designs. So the ornithopters,
dragonfly ships.
The ornithopters are super cool.
Yeah. I like their shields. They're like personal body shields that just kind of vibrate, I guess. I don't know how to explain them. I don't know much about Dune. Didn't read the books, but
the shields are very cool, and I like the way that they have rippled out into the universe. I've only read the book once, and it was 3 years ago, so forgive me, I'm not Dune explained if I get some of this lore wrong, but that the shields prevented most projectiles from being relevant at all, so that's why everyone uses knives. It's kind of like the droid shields in Clone Wars, where you have to roll the bomb just slow enough to get it to roll through, but if you just chuck it, it'll bounce off.
Yeah.
So that's like why everyone in the far future is using swords and blades instead of laser guns and stuff. Like, that's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we kind of have spice already, but we don't see it very often.
Yeah, spice in Star Wars is like...
It's like Star Wars has spice, and they have Skywalkers, but they're not related.
Oh, the way that the Skywalkers work, where, yeah, spice basically allows a navigator to skywalk in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these pieces are hard to get back off when you put them in the wrong spot.
I can't really think of anything else in the movie that I want to bring to Star Wars. The two franchises already share so much.
Oh boy, hold on. That's right. Uh-huh.
Scotty Heron, thanks for the next one. Did y'all see the video of the LA Avatar The Last Airbender cast getting the news for the season 2 and 3 renewal? Daniel Day Kim was channeling big inner Ozai energy.
Yeah, I did watch that.
That was really cute. And I'm so glad that they went ahead and announced that they are doing 2 and 3. Like, just hopefully that means they can, like, film those back to back.
Yeah, that's true. Especially since the whole story is supposed to take place in a year and you have this young cast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't let them get too much older. So we gotta pick up the pace.
That's something I wouldn't mind if they stretched the timeline a little bit, because it's funny, like the final episode of the Avatar cartoon, Aang's like, what a wild year this was.
One year?
I always forget that I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
People say that a lot happens in the Clone Wars for 3 years, or in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and I'm like, you seen Avatar?
So much goes on. I can't wait for Toph, though. I think they're gonna be able to nail the casting for that. They've nailed the casting for basically everyone else. And I think I really like everyone. I'm warming up to Aang. He was like the one character for me that I was kind of iffy on.
Well, they didn't really utilize him that much for him being like the main character of the show. There were points where I'm like, man, we really haven't cut to Aang in a while.
Well, I didn't really buy like him being a goofy kid. He was very serious for a lot of that first season, and he gets a lot of time to be goofy in the animated show, and I just kind of missed that. But I thought everyone else worked really well.
I liked the show well enough. I still don't think it, holds a candle to the animated version, but the way that Netflix is like 8 episodes, it's like, what else can you do but rush through the main plot points? But I do like the cast a lot, especially I think Zuko and Uncle are excellent.
Yeah, Uncle Iroh, Paul
Good old
Sun
Paul.
Hyun Lee is so perfect for that role. I mean, he's nailing every role I see him in, so I should stop saying he's perfect for that role. He's just a great actor, and he nails it every time. Yeah, Sean, you gotta watch the live action one. I don't know why it got so much hate online. I guess just hardcore fans of the animated show were like, what is this BS? We don't need this if you know it's not going to be as good, blah, blah, blah. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
It was a lot better, especially after reading the reviews. I was like, oh, I'm real worried. But I was already kind of hesitant even before that. And then we turned it on, and the first episode, I was like...
The first one was a little bumpy. I think they just had so much information to dump down and story to unfold that it was just kind of like a lot. It felt like a lot, and it felt a little all over the place. I don't think they needed to show the air temple stuff as much as they did. I was kind of like, we could have used that time elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe instead of doing that, we could have gotten an extra episode or something. But that's okay. Hopefully we'll get more episodes in the other seasons, because that, I think, would be the biggest thing that could help, or could have helped the first season, is an episode or two extra.
But yeah, I think episode 2 started to turn me around, and then I really liked episode 4, I think it was. Whenever they added some scenes between Uncle and Zuko that I was like, this is good. Like, this is what I want to see, is, you know, expanding on some ideas instead of just rushing through plot lines. Like, yeah, show Uncle and Zuko at his son's funeral. Like, that was great.
That was such a good scene.
And they played that stupid Leaves from the Vine song that makes you cry every time.
I kind of want to rewatch the whole thing again and just, like, binge watch it all together and see how it feels. Hi, Jill. Dean the Machine with a super chat here. I'd love for the Dathomirian witches to do a spooky version of the voice / mind trick like the Bene Gesserit. Yeah, that would be cool. I do like the Bene Gesserit a lot.
Of course you do.
I don't like what they're doing, but for the story purposes, I like them. I like spooky ladies doing spooky stuff. You know that.
I do know that.
The voice was so cool, though, and I thought it was so underused in the movie. Like, I understand it's not a huge part of the books now. I didn't understand that before, but one of our friends kind of explained it to me a little bit more in detail, but I want to see more of that.
That was fun. A bunch of us went and saw it kind of for my birthday, and then we all went out and grabbed a drink and dinner afterwards, and then I got to ask them all the questions that they would normally ask me after seeing a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Calm Like a Bomb, thank you for the next super chat. Other than Star Wars, what movie / show made you love sci-fi? Battlestar. That's one that we bring up a lot, though. Buffy's not really sci-fi.
I think as a kid, Star Wars was kind of my first introduction. I probably saw some Star Trek first. I know my dad and I watched some Next Generation, a little Deep Space Nine, so I probably did see Next Generation first before Star Wars, but it never super grabbed me. So I mostly blame Star Wars. And then X-Files, I got into that when it was on in the mid-90s. That was kind of my Buffy, I think. Mm. Was it sci-fi and fantasy, or just sci-fi?
Just sci-fi. I'm like...
What else did I read?
I really liked the Alien movies from a pretty young age. Mostly because the first one felt more like a horror movie than sci-fi.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think I saw the Alien movies when I was young, but I still knew about them. Like, my friend and I would still play the video games. We would still, like, I knew all about Terminator, even though I had never seen
Loved
Terminator.
Terminator growing up.
So, like, as a kid, they just made toys for R-rated franchises, but they got those kids hooked early.
Mm-hmm. I remember going with my friend Elise to Universal Studios in middle school, and we got to do the T2 Terminator Experience show, and it blew our minds. We were like, oh my god, this is so cool. And like I remember because we like watched the first two Terminator movies right before we left for the trip in preparation for that show specifically. We were such nerds.
Oh, I would throw Jurassic Park into the mix.
Yeah.
That's science fiction.
Oh, yeah.
I think people forget about it because it doesn't have spaceships in it, but
Come to think of it, honestly, like a lot of my favorite sci-fi type shows and movies have a lot to do with theme park experiences. Because same thing, we went to Universal Studios back when they had the Back to the Future ride.
mm-hmm.
And that was really cool. The Men in Black ride was really fun.
I did like Men in Black when it came out.
And of course, the Jurassic Park ride is awesome. So I have so many good memories from going to Universal and Islands of Adventure as a kid. And Jaws.
That's not sci-fi.
That's not sci-fi, but it's another ride that I got to ride before it got closed, and it was really good. And I got to do the original King Kong.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
I think that's about it. Like,
Oh yeah, the Twister ride was cool too. That's not sci-fi either, but it felt kind of sci-fi.
I was going to say Michael Crichton was like my favorite author growing up. I was reading those. I learned a lot of words from that book, not just cuss words, even though they did cuss in that, but like I just had a dictionary sitting next to me because Michael Crichton writes very complex stories.
I remember you when we lived in that townhouse. Was that was before we got married, right?
Yeah.
So before we were married, so this was before 2012, you said that I should read Timeline.
Oh, yeah, Timeline's awesome.
It was so good. If you haven't read Timeline by Michael Crichton, you should check it out. And then when you told me that the movie was garbage, I was like, no.
I would watch that with you. I haven't seen it in forever, but
I would love to watch it because I'm just curious.
Oh, that movie's so good. The way Michael Crichton just explains things in layman's terms that are very complex, but like I think about the way they mistakenly invented the time machine. They were trying to make like a 3D faxer, and then they accidentally made a 3D faxer / time machine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when people get put through it, little details about yourself, like a fax machine,
splintered.
Don't quite transfer. Yeah,
it's
Like,
weird. It's kooky and weird, and again, like before its time.
Timeline, Sphere, Congo, Andromeda Strain.
I need to read some of those other ones.
Jurassic Park is like the only movie that came out of those that was like really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, they were like, every Michael Crichton book, do them all.
Get the Cerveza thing ready.
Okay.
Because Lord Hosk has the next super chat, and they said, I'm just wondering, do you like Cerveza Crystal?
I said it last night, but I'll say it again. The marketing's working. I want to try it.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about, obviously we don't have time to stop at every package store between here and the wedding that we're going to in Florida, but we were like, maybe we can find it somewhere.
Maybe someplace will have it.
If you guys can find it, let us know. because we might try desperately to get some.
I saw there was a company in Connecticut that was like willing to ship, but obviously that wouldn't have worked yesterday.
Cerveza, like so many times today, I've just
It's
been like
just stuck in my head.
I've just been kind of going about my day, doing whatever, and then I'll be like Cerveza Crystal.
They've got to find whoever did that in 2003, pull them out of retirement, and be like, "What else you got?"
Yeah. Stephanie Z, thank you so much for the next super chat. Do you guys think that Vader knows about Project Necromancer, or is Sidious keeping it from him? I was asking myself this while watching the season of The Bad Batch.
I think he doesn't know when it starts. Like,
really?
During the time of the Bad Batch, I don't think he knows. But in the comics, we see after The Empire Strikes Back, Vader basically goes and assaults Exegol. Like, that's the first time he learns about Exegol, and then he gets there, and he finds all these weird experiments.
He's like, ew, what's going on here?
Exactly. He doesn't say it like that, but yes, basically. Ew.
Ew.
But yeah, like, I think he finds out about it. And even then, I don't know that he knows the specifics.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely knows there's a bunch of weird experiments going on. I don't think Palpatine told him, like, hey, I'm going to clone myself and live forever. Because he wants to dangle that, like, little piece of hope that Vader will one day supplant the Master. Because that's what the Sith do.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to read this super chat from Haunted Autumn. Say what you will about Congo, but Amy is a good gorilla and must be protected at all costs. LOL, may the force be with you.
I wish I knew sign language just so I could say, Amy, good girl.
Aw, I don't know what that means, but it sounds cute.
She's like a gorilla that's in captivity.
Where's your phone? It keeps
It's right
buzzing.
Here. Yeah,
Oh.
the groomsmen and Matt
Uh-oh.
are blowing up my phone.
That's okay. As long as there's no groomsmen emergencies.
Nah.
Okay.
The people who are already down there are talking about meeting up.
I'm fine.
FOMO.
Lightspeed Bear, what's up? Thank you for being a Biggs mega fan for 18 months. Lots of Jedi content at the moment, but to help fill the void of pilot stories in Star Wars recently, how about a Black Squadron show similar to the awesome Poe comic?
I don't think it would happen unless it were animated. They could do an animated show, but Oscar Isaac, I don't think wants to come and like be another Disney Plus star of another Disney Plus show. Like,
it would be too close to Resistance, though. Like, that was kind of the show
Yeah.
about pilots that we got, and Poe was in it. So I mean, it wasn't about Black Squadron, but
I do love that Oscar Isaac voiced Poe in that.
yeah, good for him.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'd love some more pilot stories, but that one just seems like a stretch just for Oscar Isaac. But maybe you could get Snap and the rest of the crew and see what they were up to while Poe was with Kaz or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's sticker time.
Stickers. It's been so long.
You did one last time.
Oh, well, it's still been so long. Which one of
It
these am I putting on here?
That one, yeah.
Brad Scanlon has another super chat and just says, y'all watch any MST3K?
Yes.
I haven't in a long, long time. And I didn't really get super into it back then. I remember you introduced me to Riff Tracks.
Mm-hmm. Which was
And they...
same people.
Okay.
A lot of the same people.
But I wasn't super into it back then. Maybe I should revisit it.
Riff Tracks, I don't think has the same charm just because they were riffing genuinely like.
I loved their Twilight one though.
There were times where they would find a good stride, and sometimes they would riff like they did riff tracks of Lord of the Rings, and it's like you're kind of stretching to make jokes here. But Joseph Scrimshaw from Force Center was a writer for riff tracks, that's some fun little trivia.
That's cool. I didn't think I knew that.
I think he knows Bill Corbett and some of the other actors on riff tracks, but yeah, growing up, it was kind of hard to catch riff tracks. I didn't always have the MST3K. I didn't always have the Sci-Fi channel, so I didn't see like every episode. But when we got to college and learned how to be Hondo Onaka about things, then I was able to find a lot of episodes.
That's a very roundabout way of saying it, but okay.
When I learned how to torrent things. My friend Ashton, who I'm going to be the best man in his wedding in a few months, we were roommates, randomly paired up, and we found out like we both liked MST3K, so we were like sharing our favorite episodes and watching them, and really bonded over that. That was fun.
Good times.
Deathstalker 3 is really funny because they make a bunch of Tolkien jokes in it.
Oh.
The Final Sacrifice is very fun because it's like a fantasy story. And there's a wizard in it, and he keeps making references to like, I can't wait to tell Saruman about this. Stupid stuff.
Sure.
Final Sacrifice is great. Space Mutiny is probably my favorite one because it's terrible Star Wars. They even use footage from Battlestar Galactica, like the original one. It's so bad.
Gio Flores has the next super chat. Did you see that Star Wars is coming out with a new audio drama? It has Keeve and Avar. I'm actually so excited for it. So we did see that. It's called Tempest Breaker, which is a cool name. I did not listen to Tempest Runner, so that's my bad.
Just let me say from the bottom of my heart, my bad.
My bad. I am intrigued about Avar being in this, and Keeve Trennis I haven't seen much of because I haven't been reading the comics, and that's what she's mostly in, right?
Yes.
So I don't know.
It's cool to get voices for them. I hadn't thought about that until right now.
I also don't know much about Lorna D though, so when I read the little snippet about it, I was like, wait, is she good now? And Alex was like, well. So I have a lot of like random catching up to do story wise if I want to listen to that, but I might still check it out.
I get more excited for the scripts for those just because I'm not a very like auditory learner. So every time I've listened to one of the audio dramas, I like struggle. I always find myself drifting off, and then I have to rewind. And I really liked Dooku Jedi Lost. They're just kind of like hit or miss for me about whether or not I can remember them. But then when the script books come out, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to hear what Keeve Trennis sounds like, what Avar Chris sounds like. That'll be cool.
Yeah. I do like the idea of audio dramas, and I listen to the audiobooks, so I'm not sure why so far the audio dramas that we've gotten haven't really piqued my interest a whole lot. I liked Dooku Jedi Lost. Don't remember a whole lot from it, but I liked it. Battle of Jeddah was okay. I think I was just kind of...
Did you listen to that one? Oh.
I think
I mean, you just jumped into the middle of... I guess you read Path of Deceit, didn't you?
Yes?
It's
I don't know if I finished it.
You kind of jumped into the middle of Phase 2 with Battle of Jeddah.
Yeah. I think I was just kind of overwhelmed at the moment and was kind of like, oh, it's an audio drama. I can zoom through this, no problem. And I don't know how much of it stuck. Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next couple super chats here. Have you read any of the New Jedi Order, Legacy of the Force, Coruscant Knights, or Fate of the Jedi books? If so, are they worth reading?
New Jedi Order, I read and I loved. It came out like at the perfect time for me. It was like 99, 2000. And I had been getting more and more into Star Wars books. And then that was kind of like a High Republic situation where it was going to be this long story told by a bunch of authors. And you could kind of, when I was still younger and like trying to catch up, this was a good entry point. And I liked the Vong. Not everyone does. So your mileage may vary with the Vong. Whether or not you like them as villains is probably going to dictate whether or not you like the whole series. Then Coruscant Knights, I've not read. What else was it? Legacy of the Force and Fate of the Jedi?
Legacy of the Force, Coruscant Knights, Fate of the Jedi.
Legacy and Fate of the Jedi, I was not consistent with, because when they were coming out, I think I was kind of in my own Star Wars dark times, where I was in college and stuff. That's basically it.
Just didn't have time for it.
Didn't have time. I was dating someone new.
Me?
Well, and someone. I had my first girlfriend, but then like we dated also in college.
Yeah, towards the end of the college days, for us at least.
Other things were taking over my life at that point.
That's true.
I was just trying to blame you on not reading every book. It failed.
People are going to be like, wow, Molly started dating Alex and she made him throw away all of his Star Wars stuff.
That's not true at all.
I didn't even know how big of a Star Wars nerd he was until well after we started dating. It wasn't until we sat down and played Star Wars Trivial Pursuit with some other friends, and I was like, hold on.
And you liked it. I lucked out.
I was like, you're good at Guitar Hero and Star Wars trivia?
I really lucked out.
Whoa.
Those are my two big skills. I'm glad you like them.
Darth Nicholas also goes on to say, what's something that you think the Bad Batch does better than the Clone Wars?
I like that it's a chronologically told story.
That helps.
I also like that it largely follows the same group of characters. Where the Clone Wars, there are so many characters to keep up with, and you're jumping back and forth between, like, this arc is about Mace Windu, and this one has Kit Fisto in it, and it's like, I'm glad for the variety, but I connect a little more with a story that's just like, we get to follow this same group over and over.
Yeah. I also like that it's chronological. I like that it's a little more focused in on the Bad Batch itself, but it still very much connects to the larger world. I just think it's better written. Like, I think everything about it is better, but that's just me. To be honest, it wouldn't be as good if we didn't have the Clone Wars, so there's that. And then Darth Nicholas goes on to say, to me, a scene in the Bad Batch Season 3 showing both TK Troopers and Imperial clones transition from their respective sets of armor to Stormtrooper armor would be the icing on the cake. Yeah, when they opened up the new Stormtrooper armor in the Outpost episode in Season 2, I got really excited.
Well, I think the first time we saw it was in Season 1 on... I can never remember that planet's name. That, like, jungle planet where they helped Gregor escape, but then Hunter got captured.
Oh, man, I don't remember much from Season 1.
It started with a D. Anyway, that planet was, like, the first time we saw TK armor, and we were like, hold on, what? And I think Darrow. I think I had just put out, like, an every variant of Stormtrooper, like, updated video, and I was like, oh my god.
Star Wars is like, gotcha. Keeping you on your toes. Yeah, I do like seeing the slow transition of armor. It's fun.
I think they've struck such a good balance between, like, this is a very specific story about these characters, but also how it affects the entire galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Captain Century, thank you for the super chat. Howdy all. Alex said that Star Trek didn't pull him in as a kid. I felt the same way as a kid, but as I got older, I started to appreciate / like it more now than I did before. Would you guys dabble in Trek? I've heard that the newest Star Trek show, I forget what it's called.
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. I've heard that that's really good.
I've heard great things about it.
Our friend Chase, and I very much trust Chase's opinion on shows and movies, so I'm curious about it. It just, at this point, it feels like kind of scary to step into as a pure novice. Like, I've seen some of the movies, I haven't seen much of the shows. I've seen the Tribbles episode. I think that might be it.
My stupid issue is that, like, if we dabbled in Star Trek, I wouldn't want to dabble. I'd want to experience how it began. I watched a lot of Next Generation, so I do have I like that crew. I've seen all the movies, I should say that. I've seen every single
I think I've
movie.
seen most of them, because I know you watched them for the Schmodown, so I'm sure I watched some of those with you.
I had seen all of the Next Generation ones in theaters, I think, with my dad. And then I don't know nearly as much about the original series. We watched some Deep Space Nine growing up, and I liked it. That's the one that, honestly, if I were to just dive into one, it'd probably be that, since it's Ronald Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And we like everything he's done.
Yep. Hilo is so cute, sleeping right underneath me. This table is not easy for him to get in and out of underneath, and he has crammed himself directly under me and, like, is curled up around my chair.
Oh.
Just sleeping away. I think he knows we're leaving, because he can always tell when we start packing, and he gets nervous, and he'll, like, sit on the bed and stare at me like, what are you doing?
What's going on?
Where are you going? Maybe one day, if we have a good solid chunk of time with no Star Wars stuff going on, I'll watch a Star Trek show.
I'm definitely not opposed to it. Like, I have considered diving back in before.
Two more super chats from Darth Nicholas. What are the chances Imperial Army troopers could show up in the Bad Batch Season 3?
I doubt it. It seems way more focused on, like, the armored troopers, since the clone troopers were. But, I mean, if they go to...
Where do we see Imperial Army troopers?
Han would be one. On Minbin.
Okay.
The kind of, like, riot troopers in Andor.
Gotcha.
I mean, the chances aren't zero, but I think they're really focused on, like, using the armor as
armor.
But also as, like, a metaphor for the transition.
Yeah, and, like, especially if we're going to be mowing them down, like, in a show like that, they need to have armor on. And Darth Nicholas also asks, have you ever watched Star Wars movies with riff tracks? If so, did you find them hilarious?
I know I watched the prequels in college. I don't really remember them at all. I don't remember the jokes.
I don't know if I could handle it nowadays. Especially
I've been looking for this piece, and it's literally just been sitting there in the wide open, and I'm like, where is it?
I know riff tracks isn't the same as Red Letter Media, but the Red Letter Media prequel stuff has just ruined me for that kind of commentary on those movies. And I don't care to like go back and revisit any of it.
I honestly, yeah, I think it would hit different now, where Riff Tracks is made in like a let's have fun kind of way, but they also, just the way that things have been online now and being so exhausted by all of the discourse, I'm like, I don't really want to listen to people make fun of these movies.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you know everything that Ahmed Best has gone through, or at least what he's cared to share to the general public, it's just like not fun to listen to anyone make fun of Jar Jar after that.
It's like I the kinds of humor I appreciate. Like, I don't mind poking fun at Star Wars at all, but I like Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Where they
do it in a nerdy way where it's like celebrating the deep cuts and poking fun at it, but not in a detrimental way. It's like, you remember this crazy looking Jedi from the prequels? Well, now he's on the run.
The Jarl Poof stuff is excellent, and like I thought about that all the time reading The Living Force. It's just the way that they find little jokes within almost production issues, because it's like, yeah, not every member of the Jedi Council is going to have a speaking line, so let's make a joke about how they don't have speaking lines.
Yeah. Someone said, I love the beer cam. And I was like, with a what? And I forgot that you put that.
I accidentally closed my phone.
Oh, no. Cerveza Crystal. I wish we could hear it whenever you played it.
We have to have little earpieces so we can listen to the stream.
We'll go back and listen to it afterwards. Have we seen the new Hot Toys Balin and Shin figures? They're amazing, says
Hot Toys.
Henbra. They look so good. They are too expensive for me to buy.
I just bought the Cobb Vanth Hot Toy. I'm going to have to take a break. But between like the Cobb Vanth, the Balin, the Shin, that
they
Anakin.
Look so good.
That Anakin they put out.
All right, if you got your Cobb Vanth, I'm gonna have to pick one to get for myself.
Okay.
If they do a Ventress Hot Toy, I'm picking that.
That's only fair.
Dark Sting says, love the Robot Chicken Star Wars stuff. Love the Emperor bits. The Emperor bits are so good when he goes to get a haircut.
You love that one.
Oh, you look crazy.
It's been a while. That, the Stormtrooper. My lord. Stormtrooper. I am a huge Donald Faison fan, obviously, so Gary the Stormtrooper, love him. The fact that they have their own characters within the universe is excellent. Also, I think it says something that George Lucas was a fan of the Robot Chicken stuff. Like, he was in one of them. and then, like, he became friends with Seth Green. Seth Green is in the Clone Wars playing several characters. And then they were going to do the whole Star Wars Detours thing, which is like Robot Chicken with a younger spin.
Animated, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, George Lucas was into all that stuff.
Yeah. LOST, thank you for the next super chat. What are your brains like when you are in trivia battle shape? Can you recite all dialogue? Do you push other memories out in favor of Star Wars facts? I mean, so we haven't done any hardcore trivia studying in a very long time, because when we were doing it for the Schmodown, it got to be so ridiculously hard to go through these movies, pick apart some of your favorite movies to just lines and memorization and numbers and facts, and have to like try to remember all that stuff. It really took
It sucks the joy out of it.
It took a lot of the wind out of our sails after a while doing that. But a lot of it has stuck. I mean, a lot of it's just kind of in there for good now. And a lot of it has gone away and probably will never return. That's okay.
There was stuff like, I mean, I'm just not good at remembering dialogue. I can always remember the spirit of a line. And in my very first match, I got close. Like, I didn't have it word for word, and they were like, yeah, close enough. Like, they gave it to me.
That was back when the Schmodown was fun.
And
not like, oh, you need to spell this word of this paragraph exactly right, or you lose everything.
Right. Like, they would not
They took
have
all
done
the
that
fun out of it.
now. Well, it's just like the Star Wars League got really competitive. But yeah, we don't study for Dragon Con outside of just existing and doing our jobs. But
which does help.
I do think that, you know, we would memorize the crawls word for word. We try to do that.
But they've never asked about the crawls.
Yes, they have. I missed a question on
in Dragon Con trivia?
Oh, in Dragon Con, no.
No. That stuff is like
I meant Schmodown.
Deep cut Clone Wars trivia usually, or book stuff, or
No, I missed a Schmodown question about the crawls that haunted me.
Yeah. The name of those guys in Andor will haunt me forever. I still
Oh, yeah. Scroder.
Yeah.
But if you had known it, then we wouldn't have gotten Scroder.
True.
It's just better.
I hope I don't become the person that they just assume is going to put a joke answer for everything.
Everyone, if you don't know the answer, write a joke. Like, that's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, LOSD said, I remember Alex's first Schmodown. He impressed the whole room just by knowing R4's name.
Which was your fault.
Yeah,
you kept hammering that one into me.
I drilled that into his head. I was like, you have to know this random droid's full name, full designation.
And at the time, I was like, they're not going to ask that. But really, I think they would have accepted just R4 at that point in time. But getting the whole R4P17, that felt good.
That, and then Maul, how many horns does Maul have on his
head?
That
was bigger. Molly kept asking, how many horns does Maul have on his head? And it was an easy number to remember. It's just 10. But I love both of those. When I'm being asked the question, you can see me look at you like, are you kidding me?
I'm like, they asked
It's happening.
the thing.
It's happening.
It's so satisfying to study such ridiculous random trivia and to finally get asked a question like that. After a while though, it just became so minute that you were like, okay, I don't have time for this in my regular life. This is taking over my life to where I can't enjoy anything anymore. So it eventually got to be too much, but when it was good, it was good. It was fun.
I always had fun at a Schmodown event. Like, the people were great.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And the writers worked so hard for not enough money, and we were forever grateful to them, even though they tortured us. They were told to by the boss. Oh, Mr. Chu, thank you so much for the very generous super chat. Rest in peace, Rooster Teeth. Remember to support your favorite creators, everyone. Yeah, I've been reading up, not as much as you, but I've been trying to keep up with what's going on at Rooster Teeth, because there was so much about that company that I didn't realize. I didn't know that they had sold to Warner Brothers, Discovery.
Well, it's like they were acquired by Full Screen or something, and there were a couple of other companies that then I think were acquired by Warner Brothers, and then, yeah.
We were big fans of Achievement Hunter. I mean, Rooster Teeth stuff too, but I think Funhouse was the thing that we watched the most that was kind of an offshoot of Rooster Teeth. But everyone we met who worked for them were so nice. Like we were lucky enough to go to RTX one year. It was like 2016
Couple years we
or
went.
2017. And then we went to, did we go to?
We went to at least 2.
That's right.
But yeah, everyone
It was
that
so
we met
fun.
was great. But yeah, all the Funhouse crew, like getting to, this was in 2021, I think. So 2020 is when Squadrons came out, and then the following year, our friend Jacob, who is at Funhouse, was like, "Hey, I have this idea for a Squadrons video," and he wanted me to be in it, basically so that me and him could spout off Star Wars quotes the whole time and annoy the rest of the squadron while we played. And I was like, I'm so in. So getting to do that and getting to improvise alongside these very funny improvisers, that, like, that's what I consider Funhouse, is they are good improvisers. So getting to do that with them was so much fun, and they were all great. So yeah, I was really, really sad to see Rooster Teeth being shut down yesterday.
Yeah. A lot of people lost jobs because of that, which sucks.
I was watching the Funhouse stream earlier today, and they seem like they're in good spirits. Funhouse isn't shuttering immediately. They're still gonna do some things. Maybe they'll figure something out. But.
So I don't watch a lot of Funhouse, but when I do, it's usually anything that Jacob does that's Star Wars.
The Star
related.
Boys videos
Star Boys
that they do
is hilarious. Anything with the mensch in it is so funny. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, go watch any Star Wars stuff that Funhouse has done, or any of Rooster Teeth for that matter. But
oh yeah, I got to do
so
a video
funny.
for Star Boys too. It was like a quick little intro, but I wasn't in the full video. But I'm in 2 Funhouse videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just go and like Google Star Wars or search for Star Wars on their channel, they're very funny.
And I do know, like, a lot of our favorite online creators that have worked in those spaces do have their own things going on. They've got Twitch channels, they've got YouTube channels, they've got podcasts, they've got Patreon. So it is a good idea to go and check out those, like, individual creators and try to support them, because a lot of them are going to be trying to go off and do their own thing.
I know, at least on the Funhouse subreddit, it's probably on the Rooster Teeth one too, but the Funhouse subreddit is the one I was paying attention to, and someone already gathered like a list of everyone and where they stream, where you can follow them off of Funhouse. So if you're a fan of Funhouse, go check that out and show your support if you can.
Yeah. Got another super chat from Lord Hosk. Are we keeping you from something? I want to press it.
You did it.
Yeah. Cerveza Crystal.
We're going to have to make that a thing at the wedding.
Oh, man.
I don't know
no
how,
one's
but...
going to get it.
Oh,
They're
they'll
gonna
get
be
it
like,
by the end.
What?
Look.
I'm sure they've all seen it. It's been on the Discord.
Yeah,
so.
the guy who's getting married, his whole thing in our group is
true.
like forcing things to happen. He just does it over and over until we're finally like, okay, it's funny, fine. Like, you wore us down. So we can scream Cerveza Crystal until everyone else does it.
He did that with me in that stupid singing toilet video.
Oh, the skibbity bop or whatever?
Yeah, I still don't think it's funny, but at least now I know what it is. Skibbity bop? What's it called?
I don't know.
It's like skibbity something. Skibbity toilet. I don't know. It's crazy. And thank you, Bradshaw Studio, for the super chat. It's just a little emote with a smiling face with sunglasses. Miranda here, thank you for the super chat. Just sent in the Cerveza Crystal emote. Cerveza Crystal. Play it again. It's so fun. It will get old soon, but until it does, we're gonna
To give you a preview of the Q&A that we shot, I suggested that this is probably going to become like a new version of the Rickroll, and I'm all for it. That someone is going to say, and it might be me, the Acolyte's going to come out, and someone will be like, I can't believe Star Wars did this. It's my new favorite scene. And it's going to like play for 30 seconds and then just go into Cerveza Crystal. And we're going to be like, haha, remember that thing? Remember that week where this was really funny? I'm for it.
Yeah, I've seen some Lord of the Rings ones too. Miranda here said.
Seeing all of the other franchises, Lord of the Rings Twitter and just regular film Twitter has been doing it all over the place. All right.
LOST asks, who is the most famous Star Wars person you have physically touched? Have you ever been in the same room as George Lucas? Well, okay, I don't know about physically touched, but we were in the same room with people at the Andor premiere. We were in the same room as Kathleen Kennedy, and basically the whole cast of Andor was in the El Capitan audience. I don't know where, but they were close to us.
They were a few rows behind us. So
back.
Yeah, Diego Luna, Genevieve O'Reilly, everyone that was in Andor was there. I don't think Stellan Skarsgård was there, but we didn't touch Diego Luna, but Gustavo and Nani from
shook his hand.
Yeah, from Triad of the Force. We were in the bar next door to the theater, just hanging out, or it was the hotel next to the theater where we were staying. It was the
Roosevelt.
And so we were just hanging out, being like, "Well, that was fun." And then Nani just like started hitting Goose and was like, "Diego, Diego, Diego, Diego," and we looked up and he was just like walking by.
That's where the after party was, which we were absolutely not invited to, but it was like the hotel we were staying at. Yeah. So we were allowed to just be at the hotel bar.
So we were just at the bar.
And we were like, maybe we'll see one of the people.
But Goose hopped up and greeted Diego in Spanish, which I think Diego was like, oh, nice. And so they like just chatted a little, shook hands at the end. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to follow that.
We were like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I'm not.
And Diego looks busy now.
And well, I'm not going to be like, hola. Nope.
But Tony Gilroy was there too. I wish I had said something to him at this point now, because I don't know that I'll ever get a chance to speak to him. But that was cool to at least be in the same room.
Yeah. That first Schmodown, I high-fived Sam Witwer.
Yeah?
He high-fived me at either after the R4P17 question. Yeah. I think even though they cut away from it, they sent me the footage of him just being like, wow, and like high-fives me. And then at the end of the match, he shook my hand.
They cut that out because they didn't want to show how impressed he was with you.
He was a very gracious winner.
He was.
And then he shook my hand after that. So he might be the most famous one I've touched.
I mean, you shook hands with Biggs himself.
That's true. He put his arm around me. He was great.
I can't think of anything. I'm sure there's someone else that we've met that I'm not thinking of.
Well, Katie Sackhoff, we met her at Dragon Con, did that stream with her.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that we physically shook hands ever. Maybe we did at Dragon Con.
I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. We've gotten close enough to some cool people.
Definitely could have tackled a lot of famous people, but we didn't.
No, we don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just saying, like, if we could have touched people, but we didn't.
I honestly don't know what I would do if I were in a situation where I could, like, if I just saw George Lucas, I would be so torn because, of course, I wouldn't want to bother him. But I'd be like, this is never going to happen again. I have to say something. But I would be like, how are you?
We tend to do that. Like,
what's your favorite movie right now? Like, I would ask him
might
that.
like that. At Dragon Con, you know, you see a lot of people around, and we're always like, oh, we shouldn't bother them. Like, they just want to hang out. We've seen people getting drinks or dinner, and we're like, I'm
the worst when it comes. Like, I will almost never go and speak to someone in the wild like that because I'm like, I don't want to bother them. They don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
They're just trying to live their life.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
But, yeah.
I didn't miss a single piece today.
Look at you. Cerveza Crystal.
I took my phone. This calls for a celebration.
Oh, yeah, we did meet Cameron Monaghan.
That's true.
He was super nice.
He's very nice.
God, he was nice because he was, like, trying to leave the event. And we were waiting until he was going to leave because the line to talk to him was so long. We were like, maybe we'll catch him on his way out. And he was very nice to, like, stop and take a picture.
He was nice
us.
to go. I mean, that whole event, he showed up and was talking to, like, everyone there.
And it was like a lot of devs and stuff for the game were there, and yeah, he was awesome. And I've seen him at conventions do that. Like, his line will be super long still, even after they've closed the meet and greet thing, and he'll stay there until everybody's gone.
He's super cool. Wayseekers just put out the Wayseeker podcast. Put out an interview with, oh my god, I'm brain farting, Deborah Wilson, who played Seer Junda.
Yeah. That was a really good episode.
If you haven't seen that and you're a fan of Fallen Order and Survivor, really neat interview. So go check out their video.
Brandon C. has another super chat here. Any chance Scorch finally snaps out of it and takes down Hemlock in the grand finale of the Bad Batch? Love you guys. Oh, Scorch.
I'm hopeful that they give us some sort of explanation on why specifically the Commandos are like, nah, we're still going to be with the Empire. So yeah, I do think that there's a chance that we can learn more about why that's happening. But it also might just be that they're there to be big, scary bad guys. Since Death Troopers don't exist yet, the Commandos can be... But although now they have, like, the operatives that they introduced in Season 2. So they can be the big, scary bad troopers.
Yeah, of course I want to see it happen. But I keep saying that, like, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Blah, blah, blah. You know... So I don't know if it will happen or not, but of course I want to see Scorch redeem himself.
Someone on our Patreon made a good point about the Republic Commando video game was our first real look at, like, clones with personalities. And so I think that's part of the reason.
Yeah, before Clone Wars.
Yeah, because that didn't happen until 2008.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So those were kind of like the original 4 that had distinct personalities.
And then real quick, Commander Jeff said, fun fact, I actually saw you guys at Dragon Con one year going into the Sheridan and thought the same thing. I don't want to bother them.
Dragon Con, I say go for it.
Go for it.
Like, we're going to be, especially if it's late, we'll be a little toasty, but we'll be like, hey, what's up?
We don't have nearly the kind of fame as some of the people that we're talking about not wanting to speak to. You know, they're trying to, like, go through crowds face covered, not want to be seen. They're going through to the private elevators and stuff. We're not trying to do anything like that. So if you recognize us, definitely say hi. But I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. We're gonna go cook some dinner. I'm gonna relax, finish packing, and we're out of here.
I'm packed. I'm ready to go.
I'm basically finished packing. I did everything I meant to do, so.
I think we've got like 2 more streams of this.
That's it?
I think. There's not that many bags left.
Nice. We're doing it, guys. We're gonna finish the Venator and then
Maybe 4.
on to bigger and better things.
Bigger.
Not bigger.
Smaller.
Better.
Smaller and shorter things, probably.
Smaller and better things. We'll see where we end up putting this one.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This was a nice, quick stream to round out our week here. And we'll, of course, be back next week to finish this, to talk Bad Batch, all that fun stuff. And yeah, hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Are you gonna play?
I'm just going to keep playing. Bye, everyone.